Hey guys, welcome to practice, and this week we are on practice 17 in my book, 100 Mindfulness Meditations. You can grab your copy on Amazon if you want to follow us along. And this one is called naming thoughts, emotions, and judgments. And we're still in this chapter about the mind, and we're going to explore again the contents of mind and our internal experience. And all we're doing in the practice is just naming what's there. So we want to go looking first for thoughts, then the invitation will be to explore the felt sense of emotions. When we do that, we really want to explore it as if we don't know what's there. Emotion can be such a nebulous, complex, nuanced experience, but we do feel it in the body and we can explore it from a variety of different ways. So just kind of see if we can notice what's there, see if we can notice some of the nuances within it. And then judgments as well. So judgments are going to arise in our practice, in our daily lives. It's just one of the aspects of our human minds that it's natural that we do that. But of course we then have a choice as to, well, what do we do with that judgment? Is that something I want to act on? Or can I just name it and allow it to be there and see what other information might be there or impetus to act or whatever there may be. Before we go into our practice, I wanted to just explore the idea of permission. And what I mean by that, in our mindfulness practices, we really need to give ourselves permission to be in the practice. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes if I'm in a mindfulness practice, I'm thinking, oh, when's this going to be over? Like, how long have I got to do? My mind is coming up with all these ideas like, I'd rather be somewhere else. This is boring. You know, there's so many other things that I should be doing. I need to be busy. All these types of thoughts are coming in. And so that can really take us away from the richness of the practice, which at its most fundamental is just a very simple moment of being, of allowing, this sense of just kind of dropping in to what's already there. And that takes kind of work to get there, and sometimes it just comes along out of nowhere. But for most of us, it requires this aspect of permission. So in our practice, I'm going to repeat that phrase a few times, just giving yourself permission to really be here in this practice. Because it's that kind of, I'm all in, I'm kind of committed to these moments being just for me, not being about planning, not being about scheduling, not being about caregiving, not being about all the other responsibilities or worries or things that are going on in my life. But really just saying, you know, it's so fundamental. These moments, these short moments are just for me to hang out in me and to notice what's there. So let this be simple. Let it be a moment of permission to drop in. And I think the other thing to say is one of the worries that we have, or the mind has, is it thinks that if we don't kind of act immediately on a thought or an aspect of our experience that we've noticed, if we don't act immediately, that we'll forget or it'll be lost or whatever. And I think for most people, and certainly in my experience, the mind is on a bit of a conveyor belt of thoughts. So it's going to come back to you with don't forget that meeting, don't forget to check the weather, you know, all those types of things are going to come back on a loop, which means that it is safe for us to give ourselves this permission to just hang out, to just be in the moment. And remembering that that's a skill. And we get better at skills slowly, and that's fine. All right, so we're going to drop into a short guided practice. As usual, check out where you are. If it's okay for you to be kind of seated, closed eyes, that's great. If not, just you can be standing or wherever you are, and eyes open is fine. Just allow the gaze to drop forward and just to kind of soften if that's okay for your environment, and that will help draw you into the practice. All right, so here we go. So just finding a comfortable position for practice, bringing a little bit of awareness to your posture and a sense of alertness in the body. In mindfulness, they often refer to this as adopting a dignified posture. So a sense of, we are attending to ourselves honourably in this moment, and just giving yourself that moment of assembling the body with a degree of alignment and care and kindness. Remembering that beneath all of our mindfulness practices is this idea of heartfulness, of kindness to self, kindness to our internal experience, and allowing that to naturally then flow out into kindness to others and to our world and so on. So just dropping in on the breath, allowing the busyness of the day just to be there with you, and bringing the focus from that busyness to the simplicity of the breath, rolling in and rolling out. Noticing perhaps for the first time the physical sensations of the breath rolling in through the nose, down the airways, into the lungs, expanding the body, setting the whole of the body in motion. And from here we bring our attention to the mind. Once again, sitting back in our awareness so that we can get a kind of bird's eye view of mind, and just noticing what thoughts might be present, and seeing if we can sit on the banks of the thought stream and watch thoughts come and go without participating in those thoughts or energizing them. And knowing that we will eventually fail in this endeavor, and that's fine. There really are no failures in mindfulness. We just climb back out onto the bank and watch. The next invitation is to bring our awareness to the felt sense of emotion in the body, and giving yourself full permission to be here and attend to this precious moment. Just notice not the idea of emotion, but if there's a felt sense of emotion in the body, whether it feels clear, abstract, cloudy, in motion, or still. Just attending to your emotional world without trying to make it different. Just accepting any emotions that are there, just maybe by naming them. This is calm. This is unsettled. And this is sadness. And just noticing as you name in your experience what occurs. And also just bringing an invitation to notice if there are any judgments arising in mind, and naming those too. Maybe if you're judging your practice, if you're judging your experience, if you are noticing your experience is one way and your hopes or expectation for your experience are another way. And finally expanding out back into the room. And thanks very much for joining me in practice. There'll be more on mine next week.